One thing that's so incredible about the retro gaming community, and especially the Game Boy community, is how active it is in the past few years. The Game Boy line has officially been unsupported by Nintendo forever, but we are still making games for it, and that's really amazing. That's super cool. We're still coming out with new ways to improve the console and new ways to use the console. And one of the folks who made games for Game Boy, honestly, I think before all of this hype too, has been Greenboy Games. I'm your cool Uncle Marissa, and today I'm going to review all of the Greenboy games. Asterisk. We'll get to that. So as you guys surely know, I am very lucky to be an ambassador with retro modding, and I only would do this if I truly believed in and supported a company and brand, and I do feel that way about retro modding. Retro modding also has Incubate Games, which is a publisher and distributor for other modern Game Boy games, and I will hopefully get to at least some of those one day. But recently they acquired Greenboy Games, so all of the games under Greenboy are now able to be purchased and are distributed through Incubate. Due to this change, us ambassadors were very lucky and got to access the ROMs and give them a play. So I did that, and we're gonna play through a little bit more for you guys. And I'm just gonna talk about the games and what I think about them and put in a quick summation at the end of the video. So let's go ahead and play some Greenboy games. We're going to start off with one of the two arcade style games. This one is called Submarine, and the point of the game is to shoot the oncoming ships. So off the bat, we've got this weird imported photograph of a French man, I'm assuming. And you use the D-pad to move the finger and press A to shoot. Now, one thing I can't figure out about this game is I feel like when you move the finger, the ships move forward as you move. Like if you stand still, nothing happens. There's no movement. So that's kind of weird. You can also shoot the submarines at any distance. When you fail, this guy says touche, which is completely incorrect usage. So that's weird. But yeah, it's there's literally nothing else to it. D-pad, A, touche. So let's go ahead and move on to the second arcade game, which is Leo Legend. Again, we had a photo of a man, and here you defend as a goalie, and then you try to hit a goal in the opponent. So you pick where to throw, and then it just randomly shows these photographs and tells you if you've succeeded or not. Like, this is not a game. This is I don't know what to say about this. It's just a series of random images. Good, a pretty fun game on the similar premise would be one of the mini games in Mario Land 4. Now we're getting into some more interactive games, which should not be a phrase that I'm saying. This is Micro Doctor. All right, let's go. This one is simple, it's cute. You press A to pick up the potions. Very Magic Schoolbus. It's impossible to die in this as well, which personally I think it's always a little relaxing when you can't die in a game. Just press A to buzz those germs. So now I'm trying to find the stomach, and I should have live streamed this so that you guys could laugh at me, because I don't know where I'm going. I mean, the stomach is down. The stomach is lower than your mouth and nose. What is it? This is lungs, right? So we're gonna go down from here. What are these? Like arteries? Just... What is this? Is this the stomach? I mean, this can't be the stomach because they're not there. Oh my god. That's the spine, right? So it's should be there. Oh man. Is that more spine? This is the pelvis. Okay, this is... We're going down the leg now. How did I miss the stomach? Where's the... Okay, we are going down to feet. What are these passageways? Hello, foot. All right. Cool. Go back up. Okay, literally, what is this? Is this kidneys? I mean, lungs? Is this lungs? No, I'm pretty sure the last thing I thought was lungs. Please help. Is this lungs? Is this the liver? This is the liver. Is it liver? It looks like liver. Or pancreas? Pancreas looks like corn on the cob, doesn't it? So maybe the liver? Okay, I guess it's the stomach, and that's like stomach acid. I don't know how we got here. Ooh, you know, I think while I do like that there's not a death mechanic in this, it would be pretty neat to have like something built upon this where, you know, things like stomach acid are deadly or erode your life or something. That would be pretty neat. Obviously, I would do very poorly given that I don't know what's what. By the way, you can probably see that I'm struggling with the D-pad. I thought maybe there was something with this game, so I actually took a pause to try and figure that out. And it turns out, if you guys remember, I did a tactile switch mod on this Game Boy Advance, and ultimately I decided, you know, it's not for me, so I peeled the switches off, and I guess for some reason it doesn't work as well anymore. So I took a break from this video and desoldered the board, and I will be back with the next game shortly. Okay, it's a little bit later now. Welcome to winter. Can't believe it's dark already. Anyway, we are going to move on to Where Is My Body? This is a walking sim, sort of puzzly game about a hand looking for its body. So I have completed a playthrough of this before. So I'm just gonna play through the beginning for you guys, and you can just see what it's like. Now moving on to Lunar Journey. This one is probably going to remind you of Micro Doctor in the sprite and art style. I have not completed a playthrough of Lunar Journey, but it definitely is intriguing to me, so I will probably try to do that at some point. Okay, now we're here with Shapeshifter. Let's see if I can get farther this time than on my own. So you have the option to resume with a code, very retro. I don't have any codes, but Nonetheless, when it starts, you can put in a code from this spin wheel that's included in the package. It's pretty challenging to use with the PDF version that's included with the digital, but thankfully it lets us move on nonetheless. Honestly, I think of nightmares. I have no desire to save this creature. This is absolutely a terrifying photographic import. I remember not having a great time with this game the last time I tried it, so I'm just gonna include some footage and you can see whether this is a struggle bus you want to get on or you would rather sit out. Now we're gonna check out the sequel to Shapeshifter, which is named Shapeshifter 2. It actually comes on 2 ROMs. I'm trying to remember why I didn't try it out last time. Oh, yes. Yeah, okay, so this has a code entry as well at the beginning, but unlike the first game, there's no way to skip it. So we're kind of locked out. So let's go back to just talking. Alright guys, we are back. I hope you had some fun watching some gameplay. I hope I wasn't too frustrating. So I'm actually really bad at games, even though I really like them. But yeah, you can see there is a very vast variety in the Greenboy Games collection. And I don't think this is really very well reflected in their price. So that's a big reason why I wanted to go through them. Now this is all very objective because subjectively I'm just incredibly impressed that one person could make such a wide variety of games, and I'm Dracula now. But you know, ultimately, while we appreciate that, I think you guys would prefer to know if any of them are worth buying. Well, it feels unfair to comment on them given when they came out and the state of the market when they came out, and the fact that they have already been relegated to collector's editions, or collector's items rather. I do have to comment on Submarine and Leo Legend. They are just objectively bad in every sense. They are not any more a game than those long forgotten, I never experienced them, but I watched videos on them, the VCR games or VHS games, where what you do doesn't really matter and it's just images. The only reason I do want to comment on them is the digital versions are still $5, and that is way too much. Honestly, I don't think any price would be valid for these games. I think that they would be really interesting as sort of a historical context of where the creator of the games started and has gotten to, as maybe a bundle for free. Also the fact that there are so many new Game Boy games, the physical version having the collectible allure doesn't really land because there's much nicer physical Game Boy games that have come out. So I would not give those a second glance. The sort of middle of the road ones for me, not middle of the road, would be Micro Doctor and Lunar Journey. They felt very similar to me. Micro Doctor reminded me of this cartoon I used to watch, or like I had the books for it too, of like, it was like the life of red blood cells and all the organisms that live inside you, that kind of paired with Magic Schoolbus. And so it kind of touched a weird nostalgia for me. But it, you know, it's not terribly exciting. I think it would be neat for like a kid to learn the insides of your body. Biology, that's the word, biology. Maybe, because I can't tell if I was struggling it because I'm just struggling with it because I'm just so bad at biology, or if there was something about the illustrations that were not accurate. You be the judge of that. But Lunar Journey, in terms of the gameplay, felt like a more improved Micro Doctor, and it had humor and it had sort of more of a narrative and just more life to it than Micro Doctor. It really felt like level 2 of that idea. So I think they're worth checking out if you are interested, especially Lunar Journey of the two. Now my favorite, and the only one that I finished that I would recommend, is Where Is My Body? And I don't know if I had a soft spot for it because there was a French animated film that came out not too long ago called I Lost My Body, and in a similar fashion but with more depth of narrative, it ends up being about a hand trying to find its body to an extent. So it really reminded me of that, and I really enjoyed that movie. So perhaps there lies a bias therein, but I thought it had a really good sense of humor, and it took me, a person who's not very good at these kinds of games, about 30 minutes to finish beginning to end. It's definitely a walking sim, hand walking sim, but it's intriguing, and it's nothing crazy deep, but it was definitely enjoyable, and it was the only one of all of the games that I tried that I actually finished and enjoyed playing. Now, of course, it has no replay value because it's, there's no branching narratives. It doesn't have the depth of some walking sim games where you're like, I want to experience that story again. So in a way, for me, this would be the collectible game, because you play it and then you just display it if you buy the physical. But that's just me. The longest, most robust game was Shapeshifter, but I felt like the quality of life in the game was very poor. The movement is slow. I didn't really know where I was supposed to go. If I do something before I'm supposed to do it, it doesn't work, and so you're like, oh, then I shouldn't do that, and then it doesn't occur to you to do that. And it just, when I first played it before this video, I'm pretty sure I soft locked myself, but it just literally gave me a headache. But if you're into that kind of game and you just want something super long, that's probably the one to go with. And I imagine it had more success with people than it did with me, given that they have done Kickstarters and there's a second one and a third one. Now, on the topic of the second one, I couldn't play it. I couldn't play it because with the first game, you have to enter a code, and if you don't, you can just start anyway. With the second game, you have to enter a code, and if you buy the physical edition, obviously you get this little spinner with it, but if you get the digital edition, you get the PDF, and it's impossible to read properly without doing something like layering them in Photoshop or just printing them and cutting them out. And I didn't have time for that. It just felt like too much effort for a game whose prequel I did not even like. So I just wasn't able to play it. So, it's like a neat little party trick to include that spin wheel. But if someone's going to get the digital edition, just write the codes out or something. Don't make it such a pain to access the codes. But I don't know, if you liked what you saw or you like what you see online, I think that probably the Shapeshifter series is the best bang for buck in that they seem to be quite long. The second game is on 2 cartridges. It was 2 ROM files. So make of that what you will. But overall, with all the Greenboy games, some of the shortcomings was they have really poor grammar and spelling in a lot of instances, which kind of take you out of the game. And I understand that while they were originally made by essentially one person, especially sending them now to be under Incubate, it would have been nice to maybe get a proofreader or something. But maybe it was more trouble than it's worth. But that was a little annoying. I also just was very annoyed by the fact that to interact with things, you don't press A, you often just go up to them. So I would be trying to walk away from something and it would keep reading the same thing over and over again. And it was just maddening. The speed of your character walking in some of the games was really slow. I'm not sure if it was slower than Shapeshifter in Where Is My Body, but because it was just a smaller world and you're a hand, it felt more tolerable. And then I was incredibly thrown away by the fact that in a lot of parts they import photographs and just import them straight into the game. They're very jarring images. They throw you out. They feel lazy. I did not like looking at them. They were very off-putting. Something that I liked universally is that they all have a really good sense of humor for the most part. There's references to other games and popular culture, and there's a lot of non sequiturs and just kind of anachronisms, and those are things that will always get a chuckle out of me, so I did appreciate that. And you can really see through playing the games the development of Greenboy Games skills and the just scope of their ambitions. And I think that's really cool too, and it's not something to take for granted. So these were Greenboy Games. You can get them now from Incubate Games in digital and physical. Let me know if any of them caught your eye, something that was interesting. I do hope to review more modern Game Boy games and Game Boy Advance, etc. games in the future. Currently, I have a couple that I had backed the Kickstarters, and I'm doing the long wait for them to come to me, so I'm not really too worried about them. You know, when you back something on Kickstarter, you just gotta sit back, throw your hands up, and forget about it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you are having a fantastic December and are excited for the holidays, because I sure am. But I've been your cool Uncle Marissa, and I will see you in the next one.